Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button, so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks. My name is Linda. And yes, I might be old, I might have gray hair, and I might forget where I left my purse, but I'm not delusional. And I sure as hell wasn't wrong about her. You're insane, Linda. You need help. That's what my daughter-in-law screamed at me. Right there in the hospital hallway. Nurses staring. Orderlies slowing down just enough to eavesdrop. And my son, my only son, standing like a statue, staring at the floor like he wasn't raised to have a spine. I wasn't yelling. Not yet. I had tried to keep calm. But when she said those words, "You're delusional, and I'm done pretending you're part of this family," something inside me snapped. You want to talk about pretending? I shouted, stepping toward her, my finger pointed so hard it shook. You've been pretending since the day you met my son. Pretending to love him, pretending to care about this family, pretending to be someone you're not. Her eyes widened, but not with fear. No, with smugness. Like she was enjoying watching me fall apart. Like she knew she was winning. That's enough, my son finally muttered, barely above a whisper. He didn't even look at me. Just clenched his jaw like a man being forced to choose between his mother and the woman who had poisoned his heart. No, Jason, I hissed, locking eyes with him. You listen to me. I gave birth to you. I raised you. I know when something is wrong. And something has been very wrong with her from the start. She let out a laugh then, cold, cruel, the kind of laugh that strips away any doubt. This is sad. Seriously. Let's go, babe. She's not well. She's paranoid. Maybe early onset dementia. We'll call the doctor. I don't need a doctor. I snapped. I need you to stop lying. And then, like it was all a rehearsed act, she turned to a nurse and said, she's been seeing things. Hearing voices. I'm really concerned. That's when I lost it. I lunged forward, not to hit her, not to harm her, but to grab her wrist. To stop her. To make someone, anyone, see what was happening. But the nurse moved fast. Ma'am, please calm down, she said, and the next thing I knew, there were arms holding me back. Security coming down the hall. And my daughter-in-law fake crying into Jason's shoulder. You're going to regret this, I said, my voice shaking. You're going to regret all of it. Because I know who you really are. But they didn't listen. No one did. They put me in a hospital room and told me to rest. Told me someone would be in shortly for an evaluation. My own son walked out without even saying goodbye. And she? She turned back just before leaving, looked me in the eye, and said the one word that would haunt me. Delusional. You see, that's the thing about the truth. When people don't want to face it, they'll do anything to discredit the one person brave enough to speak it out loud. But I wasn't crazy. I wasn't confused. I was the only one who knew what she'd done. Years before she ever met my son. And I wasn't going to let her destroy my family. It didn't start with screaming. Or hospitals. Or accusations. No, it started quietly, the way most disasters do. With little things. With gut feelings. With the way someone holds their smile just 1 second too long, like they're trying too hard to be charming. The first time I met her, Alana, I wanted to like her. I really did. Jason brought her over one Sunday, said she was the one, and that he'd never felt like this before. She was beautiful, yes. But that wasn't what bothered me. It was her eyes. They looked straight at me, but they never settled. Like she was calculating something, even while laughing. I smiled and said all the right things, but the second she stepped into my kitchen and started giving me directions on how to set my own table, I felt it. She was controlling. But she did it with sugar in her voice and compliments on her tongue. Oh, let me fix this, your spoons are a little crooked. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I know it's hard keeping things tidy at your age. At my age. She said it with a smile. Jason laughed. I didn't. Still, I let it go. Maybe I was being sensitive. Maybe I was just adjusting to a new woman in my son's life. But then came the missing bracelet. My husband's old wedding gift, the one I'd put in my jewelry box for safekeeping. 1 week after Alana spent the night? Gone. When I asked her about it casually, she looked at me with wide, innocent eyes. I don't even wear gold, she said. But maybe you misplaced it? That happens, doesn't it? The way she said that happens felt like a needle being threaded through my chest. Polite. But loaded. Then the lies started, small ones, easy to miss if you weren't listening. She told Jason she'd graduated from NYU. I asked her about the campus once, mentioned my cousin who studied journalism there. She froze for a second too long before saying, "Oh, I was mostly online." Hybrid, you know? NYU doesn't even do online degrees like that. I looked it up. But again, Jason brushed it off. Mom, stop. You're just looking for problems. But I wasn't. They were right in front of us. Like the time I found her alone in my bedroom during a dinner party, rifling through my drawers. She smiled like nothing happened. Said she was looking for the bathroom. Jason didn't even blink when I told him. Maybe you're overthinking, he said. She's never done anything to you. But that was the problem, she had. In small, invisible ways that only I could feel. Like the way she would always speak for him when we were out together. Like how she started answering his phone when I called. Like how, slowly, he started canceling our dinners, forgetting my birthday, sending short, cold texts where there used to be warmth. Jason wasn't drifting. He was being steered. One night, I followed her. I know how that sounds. But I had to. Jason said she was going to a charity event. One of those high society, influencer things she'd become obsessed with. I was curious. So I waited down the street in my car, parked like a fool, like a mother desperate to make sense of her unraveling world. But she didn't go to any fundraiser. She drove across town, parked near an old diner, and sat in a car with a man I'd never seen before. They talked for almost 20 minutes. Then they kissed. Full. Passionate. Long. I took a photo. My hands were shaking so badly the image came out blurry. But I didn't care, I had proof. Or so I thought. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the living room staring at the blurry photo on my phone, hands trembling, tears drying on my cheeks. My heart felt like it was breaking and boiling at the same time. How could Jason not see it? How could he not feel what I felt, the lie, the coldness, the mask she wore? The next morning, I called him. Come over. Now. It's important. I didn't give him a choice. And to his credit, he came. But I wish he hadn't. He walked in like nothing was wrong. Gave me that distracted smile, barely looked up from his phone. What's going on, Mom? I stood there, phone in hand, my chest pounding. Sit down, I said. We need to talk. He sighed, like I was about to bother him with gossip or some trivial complaint. That's when I showed him the photo. I followed her last night, I said. She wasn't at any charity event. She was here. With him. I pointed to the screen. They kissed, Jason. For a second, just a second, I saw it. The flicker in his eyes. The doubt. The fear. The crack in the armor. But just as quickly, it was gone. What the hell, Mom? He barked. You followed her? Are you serious? He didn't even look at the photo again. Didn't ask who the man was. Didn't question what I saw. All he cared about was that I had crossed a line. You're stalking my wife now, he snapped. This is sick. You're obsessed. My voice cracked. Jason, listen to me. She's not who you think she is. She's been lying since day one. I've seen her go through my things. My jewelry. I asked her about NYU, she didn't even know where the dorms were. I've seen her with another man. I'm not making this up. You know me. I wouldn't say this if I wasn't sure. But instead of hearing me, really hearing me, he stood up and shook his head like I was someone to be pitied. You're losing it, he muttered. This isn't healthy. Don't you dare talk to me like I'm crazy, I said, rising with him, my eyes burning. I wiped your nose when you were 5. I worked double shifts so you could go to college. I buried your father with my bare hands and still stood strong for you. Don't you dare tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. But he didn't look at me like a mother anymore. He looked at me like a stranger. Like I was inconvenient. You need help, he said. And until you get it. I think we need space. That word, space, felt like a bullet. He turned and walked to the door without another word. I wanted to scream, to chase after him, to make him look me in the eye and see me. But I didn't. I just stood there, frozen in the quiet, wondering when exactly I'd lost my son. And the worst part? I knew she was probably waiting for him outside, smiling in the car, ready to pull him in tighter now that I was finally out of the way. But I wasn't out of the way yet. Because the photo may have been blurry. My words may have fallen on deaf ears. But the truth, the real truth, was still inside me. And if no one else was going to fight for my son, then I'd do it alone. I wasn't going to sit there and rot while my son lived a lie. No. If he wouldn't believe my voice, then I'd give him something he couldn't deny. Cold, hard proof. The kind that bites like steel. So I did what no one else was willing to do. I started digging. Old school. I pulled out the dusty laptop from the closet, opened a dozen tabs, and started searching. Her name. Her maiden name. The school she claimed she graduated from. The town she said she grew up in. Something, anything, that would expose her. And then I found it. At first, it was a trickle. A social media comment under a photo from years ago. A woman named Lana R. looked just like Alana, same eyes, same smirk, tagged in a thread from a domestic dispute case. That sent me into a rabbit hole. I clicked, followed, traced every footprint. And what I uncovered made the breath catch in my throat. There were records. Arrest records. Mugshots. A history of fraud. Petty theft, identity manipulation, even a restraining order filed by an elderly man in Florida who'd accused her of stealing from him after posing as his caretaker. She wasn't just lying about where she went to college. She wasn't just cheating on my son. She was a professional. A chameleon. A predator. She used men, isolated them, and then drained them of everything, their money, their relationships, their sanity. And my son, my baby, was just the latest name on her list. I sat there, shaking, reading court transcripts and victim statements until the words blurred together. One line stuck with me, she's charming until you say no. Then the mask drops. I printed everything. Dozens of pages. Highlighted dates, names, screenshots, every trace I could find. But with every printed page, I felt my stomach twist tighter. Because now I had proof, but I also had a horrible, gut-wrenching realization, she didn't just want Jason. She wanted everything. My house. My bank account. My life. And if I hadn't caught on when I did, I don't know how far she would have gone. Maybe that hospital visit wasn't just a coincidence. Maybe leaving me alone in that room wasn't just cruel, maybe it was calculated. Still, none of it mattered if I couldn't get Jason to see the truth. So I set everything up. I invited him to dinner. Told him I wanted to apologize. He agreed, probably out of guilt. And when he walked in, I sat him down and slid the manila folder across the table like it was a weapon. Don't say anything, I said. Just read. He opened it, reluctantly. His eyes scanned the first page. Then the next. Then the photo of her mugshot, younger, blonder, but unmistakably her. His fingers stopped moving. But his mouth did. This doesn't prove anything, he said weakly. People change. Maybe it's not even her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Jason, she never changed her name legally. She used a fake social security number on the marriage certificate. She has a sealed file in Georgia, only sealed because she made a deal with the court to avoid jail time. This is who you're sleeping next to every night. This is who you trust with your bank passwords. He looked up at me then, really looked. His face was pale. His mouth dry. Why are you doing this, Mom? He whispered. Why can't you just let me be happy? That sentence shattered me more than any scream. Because that's not happiness, I said. It's poison. And if I let it go any longer, you won't just lose me. You'll lose everything. But deep down, I saw it. The seed of doubt. The way his hand shook when he turned the next page. Part of him knew I was right. And if he didn't act on it, I would. I told him to invite her over. No warning. No heads up. I said I wanted a fresh start, a civil dinner. Told him I was tired of the tension and just wanted to move on. He believed me. Poor boy still believed I had it in me to stay quiet after everything she'd done. But I wasn't planning a dinner. I was planning a trial. And when she walked through that front door, smiling, smug, holding a pie like we were best friends again, I saw red. Sit down, I said. She blinked. Excuse me? Sit. We need to talk. Jason stepped between us, trying to keep the peace. Mom. No. Let her, Alana said, with that fake patience in her voice. That voice she used when she was trying to sound sweet, like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. But her eyes were already calculating, scanning the room. She knew something was off. I handed her the same folder I gave Jason. Slowly. Calmly. Read it, I said. Read every page before I say a word. She didn't. She laughed. Loud, sharp, cruel. Is this your little gotcha moment, Linda? She said. I'm not playing your games. Oh, this isn't a game, I said. This is your past catching up with you. And my son deserves to know who he's actually sleeping next to. Jason looked like a man torn in half. Alana, he whispered, just look at it. Tell me it's not true. She rolled her eyes, flipping open the folder with mock drama. She flipped the first page. Then the second. Her face changed. Not all at once, no, just a flicker at first. Her lips tightened. Her breathing slowed. The smirk faded. You had this planned, she said quietly. You were never going to let me be part of this family. I leaned forward. You lied your way in. You made me out to be the crazy one. You left me in a hospital like garbage while you played nurse for show. You tried to erase me from my own son's life. Don't talk to me about being part of this family. You don't know the meaning of the word. Jason stood frozen, like his whole world had turned sideways. Is it true? He said, barely audible. Is your name even Alana? She looked at him, eyes wide now. And just like that, the mask slipped. I had to survive, she said, voice shaking but not from fear. You think I wanted to live like that? You think any of this was easy? I built myself from nothing. Everything I've done, I did to win. Because no one ever gave me a damn thing. And yeah, maybe I stretched the truth. But I love you. Doesn't that count for something? Jason looked at her like he didn't recognize the woman in front of him. No, I said. It doesn't count when it's built on lies. Love without honesty is just control. She turned on me like a viper. You're jealous. You couldn't handle your son having another woman in his life. You just wanted to be the queen forever. Maybe, I said, standing up. Maybe I am territorial. But unlike you, I earned my place here. I raised him. Fed him. Sat by his hospital bed when he had asthma attacks. I didn't show up when it was convenient. I stayed. And that's the difference between a mother and a manipulator. The silence after that was thick and cold. Jason turned away. His hands were shaking. I can't believe this, he said. I wanted to believe you. Even after everything Mom said, I defended you. I fought for you. And all this time. She reached for him. Baby, don't let her poison you. Don't, he said, stepping back. Just don't. His voice cracked. I don't even know who you are anymore. Alana stared at him. And then me. And for the first time since I'd known her, she looked small. No makeup. No mask. Just a scared little girl with nothing left to bluff. She grabbed her bag, stood up, and walked out the door without another word. No screaming. No apology. Just silence. The kind that feels like a door slamming shut in your soul. Jason didn't say much after she left. He sat down at the table and stared at nothing for a long time. I didn't push. I didn't gloat. I just sat beside him. Quietly. He finally spoke. I'm sorry, Mom, he whispered. For not believing you. I put my hand over his. You don't have to say that. I just wanted you to be free. Now you are. He nodded. His eyes were red, but there was something else behind them, clarity. And that was enough. My name is Linda. And I never asked to be a hero. I just wanted to be heard. To be believed. To not be dismissed as some delusional old woman because I'd lived long enough to spot a lie dressed in designer heels. That hospital room she left me in? That wasn't just physical pain. That was betrayal. That was the moment I realized I'd raised a son who couldn't see the truth staring him in the face, not because he didn't love me, but because love had made him blind. But sometimes, you have to be willing to lose everything to protect the one thing that still matters, your truth. The days after she left were quiet. No more cold glances across the dinner table. No more fake smiles or secrets hanging in the air like smoke. Jason took time. He needed space. And I gave it to him. I didn't push. I didn't remind him I was right. I just waited, like I used to when he was a little boy, waiting by the window for him to come home after school, scraped knees and all. Because love isn't about being proven right. Love is about being there, even when they don't deserve it. One day he showed up with flowers. No reason. No occasion. Just lilies, my favorite. He stood on my porch and said, I've been doing a lot of thinking. And you were right, Mom. About all of it. I looked at my son, older now, wiser maybe. And I didn't say, I told you so. I just opened the door. Let him in. Sat him down. And we started over. That's the thing they don't tell you about healing, it's quiet. It's not always loud and dramatic. It's in the small moments. The dinner you share again. The trust you slowly rebuild. The silence that no longer feels tense. The way they look you in the eye again and see you, really see you. As for Alana, I don't know where she went. Maybe she found someone else to believe her version of the story. Maybe she's still out there, rewriting her past like she rewrote her name. But that's no longer my burden. I gave her too much space in my head for too long. That chapter is closed. To anyone out there who's ever been called crazy for trusting your gut, listen to me. You are not crazy. You are not weak. And you are not alone. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stand your ground, even when your knees are shaking. Because the truth doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just waits. Quiet. Patient. Unmoving. Until someone finally listens. My son did. And that's all I ever wanted. Moral of the story. Sometimes, the person the world calls delusional is the only one telling the truth. Never ignore your instincts, they might be the very thing that saves someone you love.